Okay, so we're starting a new game here. Let me just fix up this, move this a little bit. Yeah, a second here. Okay, that looks better. All right, so I think I have the audio issues that I was experiencing figured out. I mean, I don't think it's perfect. We have road noise where I'm at, and it's really not much to do about that. These spears are actually pretty useful. You can check those leather gloves out. I doubt they're better than the ones we already start with, but worth wearing. Nope. Just +0. Drop them. I believe spears we can throw reasonably well as monk. Spellbook we can read. 2 of the same spellbook. Interesting. I'm going to take my time, really try and do a good job here. Monks are very difficult, I mean, in my experience. But they can be powerful. So, what are we trying to do? We're trying to get protections without wearing body armor. You get them naturally from leveling up, but that is not a guaranteed way to do it, and you need to survive that long. We could find an altar and be crowned, which will give us all the standard protections that we need. 2 Lembas wafers, well worth taking a dart for. So, and then there's the question about Sokoban. So the idea of Sokoban is that there may be an amulet of reflection there, which is particularly helpful for a monk because we're not going to be able to wear, say, silver dragon armor or wear a shield of reflection. Took a bunch of damage there, actually. Talk about being careful and then just fall into a pit and nearly die. Let's quiver these darts, just so we have something ready to throw. We can also throw the spears. And so what else for the monk? I think, we can cast spells pretty well. So we start with sleep. Right now we can cast it with a 0% fail. That's actually really nice. I'm not sure with a 4 power we're going to be able to cast that spell. If it tracks with other first level spells, then it's going to cost at least 5 power to cast. I suppose I could try next creature we see. We'll give it a little test. So we may have to level up to level 2 before we can even cast this spell. But sleep is going to be really useful for the large proportion of creatures we're going to run into are susceptible to sleep, and putting them to sleep makes them trivial to defeat. I'm going to try and keep the monk, vegetarianism and no weapon. I'm going to try and keep those alive for as long as possible. If we're about to die, then of course I will eat whatever I need to stay alive. But I would like to try a monk, while following the monk's lifestyle. So this level is pretty empty. Might just want to hang out. We do have a decent amount of food now. So I might want to hang out until we level up. I feel like there should be something in the top right corner here, but not necessarily. I could try and disarm that dart trap, but our chances are not great. And a poison dart will end our run, potentially. We're going to keep the kitten with us for now. I think definitely useful to have for the additional damage they can dish out. Come on. All right. Let's hop on down. See if this grid bug statue comes alive. It doesn't. I just have to keep telling myself, take it slow. It's not a race. It's a food ration. There's the downstairs. Let's poke her head down the stairs. Nothing of interest there. I believe I once was told that the monsters for a given level are generated based on your experience points when you enter that floor. So that means by poking your head down to the next level, you are also guaranteeing it to be a little bit easier with whatever spawned on there. Oh, this is very interesting. A Hawaiian shirt. Low boots. A piece of cloth. Buckled boots. Yeah, this is nice to find. There's probably gonna be some mimics in here, which are dangerous, but they're susceptible to. There's a couple of conical hats here. One is a dunce cap, and the other is the hat, which is good for wizards. The name is escaping me. Tattered cape. So we might be able to find magic resistance here, which would be amazing. Also, boots of speed, of course, would be great. Maybe our kitten can steal some of it for us as well. So we're just going to watch the kitten carefully, see what is cursed, because so low boots are not. So we're going to go ahead and identify that. We may want to wear a helmet too, even though it's going to prevent us from casting our speed spell as well. So those are just normal +0 low boots. A leather jacket, I think that counts as body armor, so we don't want that. The buckled boots, we definitely want to try those on. So we'll try those on next. Take off these low boots. And we'll wear the buckled boots. And let's see if we can jump. So those are jumping boots. So the tattered cape is also uncursed. Let's call these boots jumping, which I think are very worth having. They can certainly get us out of trouble. We don't have much in the way of missile weapons right now, but when we get something like magic missile, the spell, then I think having jumping would allow us to be tactical and really deal damage without putting ourselves at risk. So I'm going to I'm going to take them off and drop them right here with the idea that we'll try and get our kitten to steal them. So the kitten stepped on that space, just kind of following it around here to see what the tattered cape we want to try on. Where'd you drop it? It's here. All right, so we got to take the robe off, wear the tattered cape, and its displacement, which also is amazing. So both of these things are well worth having. I mean, the robe is great too. You know, in fact, what we have to carefully consider the fact that without the robe, our chances to cast spells are diminished greatly. We can try this dented pot on. Just 1 AC. And it doesn't reduce our percent chance to cast sleep with the robe on. There are a few other things we did want to identify here. Let's see. Again, I'm just kind of watching where the kitten is walking. leather jacket, chainmail, leather gloves, stud leather. So most interested in like these Hawaiian shirts. We would like to buy one of those right away. You just drop them over here. See if we can get the kitten to walk on them. I may just make a big pile of stuff I don't care about in the corner. Something's going to be cursed, and therefore the orcish cloak, for instance, is cursed. So therefore the kitten's going to avoid them. We're just going to get rid of a bunch of stuff here. Just a little bit of shot management here, because I think this is really going to put us on our way to success if we can get some good armor that we can wear without tanking our 2-hit chance. I don't think we're interested in the conical hat at all, unfortunately. It would be great if it worked for monks, but I believe those are wizard-only items. The jungle boots we're interested in, potentially. I'm guessing they're cursed, just because I have not seen the kitten walk on them. So interestingly enough, the kitten picked up the dunce cap. I believe the reason for that is that the conical hats, the dunce caps, are cursed when you put them on, which is different than many of the other cursed items. So it can actually trick you out if you're not expecting it. So the piece of cloth is something else we can wear to identify. I thought I picked up some bandit mail, but I guess I didn't. So let's take off the robe again, wear the piece of cloth, and it's a cloak of invisibility. So is invisibility or displacement better? That's always the question. I think displacement is better, but it's hard. That's hard to call to make. Invisibility is really good, but it's also something that you can just kind of get innately if you want it. Let's eat some things. We'll eat these fortune cookies first. Hair of the dog is sometimes an effective remedy. They say that most monsters find flute recitals extremely boring. We'll get burdened. I'm just going to pick up some of this stuff here and drop it in the corner. I think almost everything we're interested in has been identified, but there's still, say, like these Hawaiian shirts. I've not seen the kitten walk on these yet. It would be a shame if they're both cursed, because I do want to buy one of them. Plate mail, not interested in that at all. There's that cloak of invisibility, jungle boots, which we think may be cursed, just because they haven't been moved. And there's a sword here we don't care about. All right, what else? There's a bunch of just studded leather and leather in here. A leather cloak. A leather cloak, I think, is always non-magical. Low boots, we don't, well, I think we would prefer the jumping boots. So I think we'll leave, we'll put the low boots away. Again, we're just going to try and get the kitten to steal the stuff for us. because we have no money whatsoever. More leather armor. Both pairs of jungle boots have been left alone as far as I can tell, which probably means they're fumble boots, or boots of fumbling. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it is likely. I would love to see these padded gloves too. It looks like the kitten may have dropped that leather jacket on top of them, which likely means they're not cursed. And if they were gauntlets of power or gauntlets of dexterity, we definitely want those. So there's the jumping, the cloak of displacement, which we want. We want the dented pot. We would take, although there's a trade-off there, in that if we trade our robe for a cloak of displacement or invisibility, then the dented pot may make it impossible for us to cast our sleep spell, which is probably one of our better assets right now. All right, so kitten, come over here. I'm actually gonna pick this up, drop it right here. I would like to see if these gloves are cursed. I don't have any triperations or anything to train my kitten with. So the padded gloves are not cursed, which is great. So let's take off these +2 gloves and we'll wear the padded gloves, and they are gauntlets of power. So immediately it puts our chance to fail sleep up to 82, but it does give us 25 strength, and the robe actually negates that. So the one person streaming Nethack, welcome BM Courser. Yeah, there's a few other Nethack streamers, Luxadream and Craig. So there are a couple other Nethack streamers. There's very few, and you might see them in here later on. But Tonehack streaming Brogue today. He's also great. Yeah, I think in my channel, Twitch channel, I have a few other streamers listed who sometimes stream roguelikes, including Nethack. Yeah, but this is my I don't know how long this challenge is going to go for, but the idea is I'm trying to ascend each role in Nethack. So I've ascended 5 already. I've done most of those. Most of those I've done on stream. I think maybe except for the very first one, I didn't stream the ascension, but they were all done this year or late last year. So that this Hawaiian shirt is not cursed. So I'm gonna go ahead and pay for that. It's only 4 gold. Oh, did I buy you the? Oh, okay, well I bought both. Welcome back, Twiggets. I have played Nethack for, I'm just going to tell you, an embarrassingly long amount of time before I ever ascended a character. I still feel like I'm pretty bad at Nethack compared to some other players who are much more, who do speedruns or much more accomplished at Nethack, let's say. Since 1990. So I think you have me beat by just a few years. I think I started playing, I want to say in 93, 94. Yeah, about around then. I played Rogue before that, but that was very casual. But I was introduced to Nethack in my high school computer lab by another student, and been playing ever since. Actually, I would say that I've been playing off and on. So there are periods of years there where I didn't play any Nethack at all, and then there are years where I played a lot of Nethack. So yeah, around 1990. Gotcha. Yeah. You get the bug and you play for a long time, and then you stop playing. So the Hawaiian shirt is +0. We will enchant that up later. But it's amazing to have. I mean, it's just like for this character, it's amazing. We're going to drop the Gauntlets of Power right here on top of the jumping boots, both of which we want desperately. I think I've decided that we want the Gauntlets of Power more than we want the Cloak of Displacement. And so that means I think we're sticking with the robe for now. Beginning to feel weak. Classic. So let's eat some stuff. First law of hacking, leaving is much more difficult than entering. It's actually not. If you leave early. If I left right now, it'd be easy. It's only hard if you get the Amulet of Yendor. A magic vomit pump could be useful for gourmands. There must be a million of these. There's a bunch of these I've never seen before. All right, what am I doing? I'm calling Jungle Boots fumbling just because I think they are. Put a question mark. I think we're ditching the cloaks of invisibility and displacement. Sadly. But, you know, I really think these are the two things we want right now. We'll pay for the Hawaiian shirt for 4 gold. And we're going to hope that the kitten comes over here and picks some things up. Basically, one of those two things right there. Come on. Not very well trained. I don't, because of course, because I'm a monk, I don't have anything that my kitten wants to eat. Some meatballs. Actually, the kitten stepped on this. Oh, that's displacement, that's why. So we're going to get rid of that. The Hawaiian shirt we don't want. Oh, no, sorry. We paid for which one? Drop, unpaid. We paid for both of them, I think, sadly. It's all right, just an extra 4 gold. So we could sell it back for 2. Sure, why not? And then, do we sell the leather gloves? Not yet. I mean, there may be some chance we don't get those Gauntlets of Power. So, and this Cloak of Displacement we need to take off. What? Oh, it's unpaid. Okay, we're gonna drop that. Played about 20 games of Nethack total. Can we make this a noob stream just for me? Sure. So I would say, I mean, I can try and, you know, ask questions. I can try and explain kind of the thoughts behind what I'm doing. With 20 games in Nethack, I think you've gotten the idea of it. Let me move these things just because the shopkeeper keeps standing on them. I'll put them like right here. Unpaid. So right now we're trying to get the kitten to steal things for us. This is a grid bug. Grid bugs are excellent early game sources of XP. Come on, kitten, pick something up, please. I wonder if, oh, there. Jumping boots, please. Come over here. No. Come eat this. Actually, you just pick up the corpse. Kitten, you gotta earn your keep here. Oh, we're gonna eat something. Eat some, I don't know. Eat oranges. Yeah, they're very easy to kill. They're an excellent source of XP. So come drop those Gauntlets of Power next to me and I will give you this corpse. Come on. You can do it. Cool. Oh, and then he ran away. Can I throw this at you? The Jackal corpse. I don't know if that increased the kitten's apport, but so one of the amazing things about Nethack is your pet has a fairly rudimentary AI, but it keeps track of when you reward them. So if, yeah, it picked up the gloves and it just ran off. If you reward them, so you give them a tripe ration or some sort of piece of food, immediately after they say drop an item at your feet, they'll remember that and they'll do that more often. All right, so I'm gonna wear these Gauntlets of Power. I think I'll probably keep these until the end of the game, even though it does have a negative impact on my spell casting. So for people who are new, the reason why Gauntlets of Power decrease your casting percentage is because they're made out of metal. So wearing metal armor will prevent you from casting spells. So something like Gauntlets of Dexterity are leather and will not interfere with your spell casting. I really want these jumping boots though. So come over here, kitten. And I may not wear that. Let's sell these leather gloves. Out of curiosity, can I cast my sleep spell with a dented pot? Yes, I can. So actually, we want the dented pot as well. AC is very important. We're going to sell these. We're going to drop this. Hang on. Jumping. We're going to sell our leather gloves. We don't want those anymore. And we want the kitten to come and take some more stuff here. No, we do not want to attack. Pick something up, please. Yeah, we're in a shop. So this is the shopkeeper right here. So you can pick something up and then you can pay for it with with a P command. We right now have 27 gold pieces, so we're not going to pay for anything. We're trying to get our kitten to steal this stuff. But our kitten's not very cooperative. Not very well trained. We don't have any way to train it. So we're just trying to get lucky. Come on, just pick something up. If this kitten picks up something, we can have them follow us out. I don't think either of those things are too heavy for the kitten to pick up either. We've got a reasonable amount of food, so we'll spend a little more time in here, particularly for those boots of jumping. If the kitten picks up the boots of jumping, we may just buy the helmet and move on. I'm just going to eat these oranges. All right, jumping boots, follow me. Come on. So shopkeepers are very tough. Yeah, you would have trouble trying to kill a shopkeeper. They generally have wands. The cat won't. So corpse does not count as a treat for a pet. Interesting. Okay, well, that's good to know actually. So you need to have something good like a meatball or a tripe ration. We got our jumping boots, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and just buy this dented pot. It's only 11 gold, and we'll wear it and move on. If your pet gets sufficiently powerful enough, then that's a great way to just get a bunch of stuff for free from shops. So if you can polymorph your pet into something powerful like a purple worm, then you can take them to Mine Town and they'll go around and eat all the shopkeepers, and then you can loot all the shops without any problem. If you kill the shopkeeper yourself, and you can, particularly if you have something like a Wand of Death, then the Keystone Cops will come after you. They're not particularly dangerous, but they're annoying. You also are a murderer, which may or may not have effects depending on your alignment. Yes, yeah. If you steal, then again, the shopkeeper and the Keystone Cops will come after you. And you can steal in various ways. You can pick up everything you want and teleport yourself out of the shop. If you can dig, if you have a wand of digging, then you can dig your way out of the shop. And sometimes it's worthwhile to do. You can actually pacify the shopkeeper by coming back later and giving the shopkeeper some gold. This is probably an arrow trap. I'm just gonna do a search. If you ever see just like a single arrow or a single dart on the ground, it's likely to be an arrow trap. You can untrap it with the extended command, which is the hash mark, and then untrap. Of course, you can fail, in which case you get another arrow shot at you. If you untrap an arrow trap or a dart trap, you have a chance to get a large number, a stack of ammunition, which for certain classes is very good. So, for instance, a tourist starts out with a dart skill and may want to untrap every dart trap they see because they're reasonably good at throwing darts. The monk, who we are right now, is good at throwing shurikens, but those are very rare and hard to find, and can throw spears. So I have 2 spears. I have darts. I'm unskilled at throwing them, and I'll never really gain skill to throw darts as a monk, but even unskilled throwing can be useful at times for certain molds or fungi that have nasty effects. So there will be some spoilers too, which if you're not unhappy with that. So we're going to engrave test this wand. So to do that, I'm going to do Shift E, and I'm going to write with my finger, which is the dash here. Just write anything, doesn't matter. So write foo, and then I'm going to engrave again. I write with the iridium wand, and so that just identified it because it has an effect. So we now know it's a wand of light, but other wands have different messages when you attempt to write with them, which give you a clue as to what they are. So wand of light is not very useful. We may sell it. There's some times when it might be useful. We don't really care about the low boots. We have jumping boots, and I need to remember that I have jumping boots because they can be very powerful in certain situations, but I'm likely to just forget. All right, so we hit level 3, and you saw there was a message there. In our message history, you feel healthy, right there. So what that means is we get poison resistance. I'm going to mark it off on my list here. So generally, to win the game, you need to have the vast majority of these intrinsics. I would say cold is and fire, magic, poison, shock, sleep. Those are all the resistances that you absolutely need to have before you can win the game. So sort of marking it off in the list here to give us an idea of when we might be able to make a run for the Amulet of Yendor. Emax. I'm insulted. I'm not actually insulted, but it's Vim, and theoretically, there's Vim users don't like Emacs and vice versa. Yeah. So we're gonna. This is a gas spore right here. When you die, they explode for a large amount of damage to all the surrounding areas, which can kill me. It could also kill my cat. So I'm gonna step back and throw darts at it. And fortunately, my cat was not in the range of effect. Dungeon level 2, but Gauntlets of Power. Welcome, Mini Mogul. That room to the lower right was a gigantic armor shop. So we had our cat steal Gauntlets of Power and jumping boots and a Hawaiian shirt. We got a bunch of stuff from the armor shop. So we're a monk. So a lot of that armor was not useful. Yeah, we have a new player here, or a newer player. So just trying to explain some of this. Monks are very special in that if you wear any body armor, So the primary pieces of armor like chainmail, plate mail, whatever, you get a -20 to hit, which in early levels means you're just not going to hit anything. You can wear all the other pieces of armor, so you can wear helmets, gauntlets, boots, robes, and Hawaiian shirts or t-shirts. Stole a bunch of stuff. Did I not say that? Yeah, we definitely did not buy anything. We had our kitten steal everything for us. Monks also can get up to Grandmaster level in hand-to-hand combat, and they get special abilities with their hand-to-hand combat. They can stun creatures, all kinds of good stuff. And they cannot get skill in many other weapons. There's a very limited number of weapons to get basic skill in. And luckily enough, we found yet another shop. 8 p.m. here, but morning. Yeah, it's close to that where I am too. 7 p.m. here. But Mini Mogul is probably one of our Australian watchers, I'd imagine. Eight in the morning in the UK. Is that right? No. UK's just got to be like 5 or 6 hours past where I am. So that's interesting. Why is that mimic visible? Do we have warning or something? I don't think we do. 8 minutes past midnight. Ah, gotcha. Yeah. Yes, the mimic's coming after us, actually. I don't know if it was aggravated or... Mimics are reasonably dangerous. It's a small mimic. We could fire something at it. I think we'll get it onto the hallway and then see if we can soften it up with our darts. Come on. It's right there. Oh, we're weak. Hang on. I gotta eat some stuff. Blinded by a rotten apple. We got hit once by the mimic and it did like 10 points of damage. So yeah, they are no joke. Yeah, an altar, like early altars I've not found. But yeah, stores have been good for sure. Kitten's behind me, so I can throw my darts to the north here. See if we can do some damage to this mimic. Back up, keep throwing. Killed it, and we got an XP level. Welcome, sorry. Your name is a little dark on the black background. Unconquered, welcome Unconquered. Go bravely with Tyr yourself. Yeah, I just need to slow down. I would say 4 or 5 runs, I died extremely early just due to carelessness, basically. And I really want to make this monk work, so I'm gonna try and just be very careful. And I apologize in advance if things are painfully slow, but that's really the secret to doing well in the game, at least early on. A towel, we want that if it's not cursed. A towel is very important. It can act as a blindfold, which is one of the very powerful effects of it. And it's also got other less common but important uses. All right, we're going to again watch where our kitten walks. And the reason for that is your pet will walk reluctantly onto cursed items, but will walk normally onto blessed or uncursed items. And this is a general shop right here. So we found a second shop. The first shop we found was a arms and armor shop, although it was almost all armor. There's like a single longsword in it. And this is a general shop. General shops are one of the great resources of the game. Thanks for the follow. The reason why it's a great resource is you can price ID items. So using the wiki or an app, or just if people who've been playing this for a very long time who are not me, just remember the price lists, you can sell things or offer to sell things, and by the price that the shopkeeper offers you, know what class of item it might be. So this potion is one of the 5 or 10 potions which sell for 50 gold. Right. Oh, yeah, you changed your color unconquered. Yeah, I can read that better. Like everything's on a black background in the Twitch UI, which I don't mind, but so I'm a little curious why that mimic actually came after me. Like, I've never seen mimics actually leave their mimic form and chase you down. And I don't know if like we have somehow have aggravate monster already. I don't know how we would. But there's kind of interesting thing. But I'm also wondering if that means there's no other mimics in this shop. So the fortune cookies, we kind of want the food ration. We're hungry, which is so normally food rations would cost 60 gold pieces, but because we're hungry, the shopkeeper inflates all prices by 2 times. Elven shield. We don't really want to wield weapons or use shields. It'll make it impossible for us to cast our spell. Is that true? Aggravate monster would make the shopkeeper attack us? Conflicts might. I thought aggravate monster was just for other things, but you may be right. I'd have to look that up. 2 gray stones. The fact that it's a stack of 2 probably means that these are flint stones. Though they cost 160 Zorkmids. So just like, again, price IDing them, the fact that they cost 80 each means they're not flint stones. I've never seen a stack of 2 touchstones or luck stones. So if you see a gray stone on the ground, the first thing you want to do is take a step back and then kick it. So we're going to use the Control D, which is the kick command, and we're going to kick the stone. The reason for that is that if it's a lodestone is a cursed stone that if you pick it up, it's cursed, you can't drop it, and it weighs a lot, so it burdens you. If you kick it, it makes a thump sound and it doesn't move. If it's any of the other stones, so in this case, it's got to be either a luck stone or a luck stone or a touchstone, I believe. Then it will move. So we know it's not a lodestone. It's not going to be cursed. And just looking at the list here, and the cost. It's got to be either a luck stone or a touchstone. So we can actually further figure that out by picking up the gray stone. We need to pick up something that's metal. So I'll pick up this morning star. And we're going to rub the gray stone onto the morning star. And that scritch noise is a telltale sign that you've picked up a touchstone. So we're going to Shift C, we're going to call that the type of the object in the inventory, and we're going to call it a touchstone. So a touchstone is a way to identify gems. Was the mimic activated because it was a bones file? Or are bones files only available after a certain level? I don't know. the answer to either of those things. I don't know what level bones files can be. I'd imagine they could be any level, just wherever the character happened to die. Shopkeeper doesn't mind kicking the wares. Depends. If you kick something that breaks, then yes, they do mind. So if you're kicking gems around, watch out, because if it's a piece of glass, if it's a glass gem, it's going to shatter and they're going to charge you for it. Those stones won't break though. So flint stones will break. If you throw a flint stone around, it might break, but lodestones, touchstones, and luckstones will not break. And flintstones they only cost a few Zorkmans. Shopkeepers care about you reading their books or using their wands or breaking their stuff, but that's about it. So I might want a touchstone eventually. I'm not going to pay 80 gold for it. I mean, maybe I'll put it by the door here just to have my kitten possibly steal it for me. I'm definitely not going to pay 80 gold for it right now. The whistle can be one of two things. It can be a normal whistle or it can be a magic whistle. I think at cost 18, it's going to be a normal whistle, but we'll give it a try. So if it produces a high whistling sound, it's just a normal, we'll call it a mundane whistle. If it made a strange sound, then it's a magical whistle, and those are very useful. They will summon your pet magically to your side. So we drop the whistle here in the corner. Again, I'm just gonna make a little pile of stuff we don't care about, just to try and encourage our kitten to steal things that we actually do care about. We might want that spellbook. We don't want two touchstones. And we know that they're both the same blessedness or cursedness because they were stacked. When I kicked the two of them, there were two of them in a stack. So that means they're both probably uncursed, but there's no difference between them. That towel is not cursed, so we definitely want our kitten to seal that. I'm just picking up stuff here that we don't want the kitten to pick up. And I'm going to start to price ID stuff as well in a second here. And I'll sort of show you what that process looks like. All right, I'm dropping all this junk in the corner here. I might actually drop some things I want to sell as well. So I'm going to decide, do I want, I don't want the arrows. Do I want to hold on to things like crossbow bolts? Probably not. I'll just keep my 9 darts and 2 spears for missile weapons for now. We don't want the leather armor. We don't want the plate. A blessed scroll of charging. I guess that was something we started with. And that's actually great to have that identified. It's one of the very important scrolls. You'll need that to the very end of the game. There are 2 spellbooks. Both are shining. I don't know which one is blessed and which one is cursed, which one's uncursed. It would be great to figure that out and then sell the one that is cursed. So I can probably just step out of the shop and do that. We'll sell the Wand of Light, and then we're going to drop these gems as well, which we don't care about. Sell those things for a small amount of money. Sell the Wand of Light for 50. And we're going to, oh, we're weak again. All right, let's eat some stuff. We'll eat some food rations. All right, let's start to price IDs things. So I'm using an app for this. Again, people who are better at Nethack than me probably have this stuff all memorized, but there's an app. You just input your charisma. You input the item type. So this is a scroll, and you input the cost. And we're buying. So we're going to check the price. So this is one of 4 scrolls. So again, I'm going to Shift C, call. And now I'm going to call F, the type of an object on the floor. And we're going to call this scroll, it's going to be a create monster, taming, amnesia, or earth. I mean, none of those 4 scrolls are particularly useful. So we're not going to try and buy it. So we're going to do the same thing for each of these items that are being for sale, and then we'll also identify the things in our inventory as well. So we're going to pink potion for 67. So one of 4 things. This could be see invisible, booze, sickness, or juice. Sky blue for 267. There's actually a bunch of things this could be. Blindness, speed, levitation, invisibility, enlightenment. One of 2 types of defection. Energy, healing, or polymorph. Yeah, so a bunch of things this could be. And you can start to reduce that list as you start to identify other things. The towel we want, it's not cursed. So we're going to drop that by the door. Again, with the hope that our kitten will steal it for us. Scroll for 36. So I think there's only a couple things this could be. Actually, if you're buying it for 36, it's got to be a scroll of identify. We got to pick up this fortune cookie. We'll buy it. We don't want the morning star. We'll buy the fortune cookie. Call something on the floor. This is identify. So this is one of the, if you don't want to use the online tool and you just want to identify something that's useful, then I would just give you this piece of advice. Look for the scroll that costs the least, and that's going to be your identify scroll. So generally it's going to be very inexpensive. It's going to depend a bit on your charisma and whether you're buying it or selling it, whether it's identified, but it can be anywhere between 15 and 30. 36 is pretty high, but that's just because we're buying it and it's unidentified and we have a low charisma. So we actually have a scroll called identify in our inventory as well. So ruby potion for 200. So you see there it says the kitten steps reluctantly over a potion called. So that means that's a cursed potion. So 200 for a potion. So that's going to be, again, the list of blindness, invisibility, detection, or energy. Okay. See invisibility, booze, sickness, or juice. I'll pick these things up. We don't really want our kitten to bother stealing these. So a scroll for 400, it's got to be one of the good ones, I think. Yeah, so there's 4 scrolls which are very expensive, and 2 of them are very useful. So this is going to be genocide, punishment, charging. Actually, can't be charging because we already know what charging is, or stinking cloud. Okay, we're going to drop this. I'm just going to drop all these things in the corner, again, just to reduce it to the things that we actually want our kitten to steal. Good question. Yeah. So a Scroll of Genocide lets you, as you might imagine, wipe out every creature of a certain type. So an uncursed Scroll of Genocide lets you kill any creature of a single, let's say, species. So you could just pick every newt, and it would wipe out every newt. You never see a newt in the game ever again. A Blessed Scroll of Genocide lets you wipe out a whole class of monsters. So you could say, I'm gonna wipe out every monster that is represented by a capital P. And that's going to wipe out every gray pudding, black pudding, brown pudding. It's going to wipe out green slime. Anything which is represented by a capital P, regardless of its color, is going to be wiped out by that. And again, you'll never see it again in the game. So that can be very powerful, particularly for there are certain creatures which can end your game, regardless of whether you get all of these intrinsics listed on the left. So genocide is very important to sort of make your run safer. There's also another special use of genocide, which is if you read a cursed Scroll of Genocide, rather than wiping out creatures, it's actually going to summon 4 to 6 creatures of that type to surround you. And you might think that's bad, and it could be bad. But if there's a certain creature that you really need because it can drop a certain thing that you want, or its corpse can grant you one of these intrinsics, then using a cursed Scroll of Genocide might be a efficient way to get that intrinsic or get that item that you need. And then the other 3 are punishment. So that's obviously bad. If you read a Scroll of Punishment, it's going to attach a heavy iron ball to your leg by a chain, which is going to slow you down. As you go down staircases, the ball will fall down after you and land on top of you, potentially killing you. Removing that would require a remove curse spell. Or there's some other ways to get rid of it too. Charging, we already talked about, or we have one of those. Very important. It recharges things like wands or magic markers. And Stinking Cloud is sort of less useful. It lets you select an area in, say, another room, if you can see it. It creates a cloud of gas that hurts things inside of it. So it's got some certain niche uses for dealing with dangerous things which you might be able to wipe out with a Stinking Cloud without having to put yourself at risk by going in there. But that's usually less important than the 2, genocide and charging, both of which are going to be useful to the very end of the game. So we're going to price ID the things that we've already picked up. So I'm going to drop this scroll labeled Fnord. And the shopkeeper is offering us 113 gold for it. We're not going to sell it, so we'll say no. And then we're going to look up in our app here, selling for 133. 113 rather. And that's actually one of the 4 good ones. So this has to be genocide, punishment, or Stinking Cloud. Which is great. So now we have two scrolls in our inventory of that value. And then we can also do the same thing for our potions. So potion for 38. That's a bunch of different things. And the other one, swirly potion for 56. Thank you, Unconquered. I appreciate that. It's not creepy. I'm just going to catch up in chat here a little bit. Thank you, Mini Mogul, for stepping in there and explaining things as well. Yeah, there's all kinds of things you can do with these scrolls. Well, reading them while they're cursed or while you're confused. Yeah, you know, to be honest, BM Courser, like Genocide, I think is a little bit. I mean, maybe the game's showing its age a little bit. Like, I think maybe they could name it differently. I don't know. So 56 gold for a potion. Selling. Did I step off that potion? Where am I? Oh, there it is. So we're gonna, I think we price ID'd everything in our inventory. So we really want the kitten to steal these things. Maybe the identify scroll. We might just buy that. Why not? I mean, language is important. Like, you know, and it's not a big problem. I'm a software developer as well, and I think calling it, you know, it takes you one line of code to turn your master branch into main, and it's no skin off my back. I think let's go ahead and do that. It's really not going to cause me any problems. I think we want this to be stolen as well, so let's put that over on this. Oh, the kitten guy's the towel. Let's see if we can lead the kitten out. Come on, kitten. Bring that towel right here. So we have a towel. It's not cursed. So I'm actually going to adjust. So if you hash mark ADJ, towel. I usually use T for towel. Seasonal allergies. So, yeah, let's not derail it, but, you know, I do think language is important. How you know, and like, if it bothers someone else and it's going to cause you like literally 5 seconds of worry every time you create a new project, then why not? It's really not that big a deal. All right. Kitten's got the scroll we want. Oh, no, not yet. So I think the kitten picked up that scroll and dropped it right here. So now we have, I don't actually know if these two are the same. I may have named them exactly the same. I did, and that's kind of sad, actually. Does anyone know? I guess I'll rename it. I'll rename one of them. So we'll call this one like Stinky. Yeah, so we have actually all three types right now. Or we have two of the three. So we have charging, and we have two of the three of the other types as well. So that's pretty good. And let's see, touchstone, spellbook. We don't want this scroll. Drop that in the corner. We do want this food ration. Yeah, just don't mind my kitten. It's just walking out with your stuff. Come on. There's the touchstone. You know, again, I wouldn't pay 80 gold for it, but if I get it for free, it's pretty useful. Come on, drop it. Oh, picked it up again. Come on. There it is. Okay, so now we have a touchstone. So what does a touchstone do? You can use a touchstone. You can apply a touchstone. You can rub it on other possible gems, and it helps you identify them. Now, a uncursed touchstone, which this is, will not automatically identify it, but it'll give you clues. So generally, things that leave, so if you can scratch the gem, it's more likely to be glass. It's not always glass. There are valuable gems which are soft. Basically, I ignore all that. As soon as I can bless the touchstone, I will, at which point you can use it to identify gems by rubbing them on the blessed touchstone, which I think is well worth it. If nothing else, then you're not carrying worthless gems around with you. Sure. Two cream pies. The black gem I rubbed on there, it said, what did it say? You make scratch marks on the stone, so it's soft. So if you really cared, we could look it up. Let's see, black or gems by color. So black gems, there's one that's hard and 3 that are soft. The fact that we made scratch marks on the stone means it's soft, so it can be either glass, obsidian, or jet. So we've knocked it down to one of those 3 things. It's not an opal, because an opal is hard. As I said, I'm not going to worry about identifying gems until I bless the touchstone, in which case, when you rub the touchstone on the gems, it will identify them for you. Okay, we actually do want this spellbook, so bring it right over here. Thank you. I wish I could reward my kitten for all this thievery she's doing. Oh, wait, that was weird. In the like second that I do I have the spellbook? Oh, I picked it up. Oh, I had auto pickup on for some reason. All right. I do want to identify whether one of these 2 identical spellbooks is cursed, so I'm going to drop them side by side. That one's uncursed. And I think the one on the right is cursed, just sort of watching the behavior of the kitten. The kitten is avoiding that book. So we'll sell the cursed one, we'll hang on to the other one. So I'm going to capital C call a particular object in the inventory. I'm going to call the Shining Spellbook cursed, probably. Yeah, actually, interestingly enough, BM Courser, if there is like a tripration in the shop, your pet will just go around and eat it. They'll eat it right off the floor. Yeah, they'll help themselves. If you really want to train your pets well, you can take the stone to flesh spell, and you can cast it on a stack of rocks. You can just make like 1,000,000 rocks by breaking up boulders with the pickaxe. You cast stone to flesh on them and they turn into meatballs, which are lightweight and they stack. You just take those meatballs and you can reward your kitten every time the kitten does something good and train it really well. We're going to sell the, we think, cursed spellbook here. So monks can get up to basic spell casting ability in, I think, every type of spell. And they're actually they get additional benefits from wearing robes. So they can actually cast reasonably high level spells wearing a robe. So there are 2 down staircases here. So that means one of them is the mines, the gnomish mines. And the other one just goes further on down in the Dungeon of Doom. Dungeons of Doom. So we can check that out. Poke our head down here. So this is a normal room. So this is just the normal Dungeons of Doom. We can use eggs to reward our cat, I think. Actually, I don't think we can. Now that I think about it, you throw an egg at your cat, it's gonna splat and hurt them. So I need to slow down. I just killed a werejackal, but I actually wasn't paying attention. So very dangerous if that was something like a floating eye that could have ended our run right there. I'm just going to drop off this orcish chainmail here. Make a little bit of money. Clean up the level. And maybe I'll just buy this food. Now that we've made some money. So we're going to be vegetarian. I guess I'm not vegan. I will eat these cream pies. Make our lives a little bit easier by not completely restricting what we can eat. Yeah. I'm not speedrunning. What I say is this is not a speedrun. This is like the opposite of a speedrun. It's going to take me, if I win with this character, it's going to take me a long time. Probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 nights of streaming. And that's, I'm definitely ahead of myself. It's going to take me quite a bit of time to get to a point where I'm safe. A key is another one of those things that extremely useful. I'm going to keep this until the end of the game. I'm going to call it, actually we're going to adjust it. I adjust the key to the letter K because I will use that often. And right there is a floating eye. Win is ascension, yeah. So this is where your towel comes in handy. So I'm just going to take the capital P, put on the towel, and blind myself. And now I can safely kill the floating eye without being susceptible to its gaze attack. And I'll take the towel off. And I would love to eat this floating eye corpse, but I can't. It is meaty. Floating eye corpses give you telepathy, which is one of the intrinsics on that list there. That's very important. But if I'm going to stay vegetarian, I can't eat it, sadly. In fact, I don't know if there's any way for me to get telepathy as a vegetarian. Someone's going to have to remind me if there's some way to get telepathy. Telepathy is one of those things which is extremely useful. What it does is when you're blind, while you're blinded, you can see any creatures that have brains, so like non-undead creatures, you can see them like anywhere on the map. So not limited by range. Why might... oh, thanks, Unconquered. Good night. And hope everything's going well where you are. So the monk is vegetarian, just sort of by default. If you end up eating meat, you get an alignment penalty. Alignment penalties they're really not that serious. I mean, they can make your god mad at you if you. Ooh, okay. All right, got to pay attention here. I just took 20 points of damage from a gas eye. a gas spore and almost died. And it was right next to a floating eye too, which I could have attacked. All right, so again, slow down. Think about what you're doing. Helm of Telepathy, okay. Helm of, and then there's ESP as well, which is a little bit different. I think there's an Amulet of ESP. Yeah, so explaining the vegetarianism, a monk, it's just one of their traits, and each time you eat meat, you feel guilty, and you get an alignment penalty of -1. If you do that too much, if you do too many things that give you alignment penalties, your god will be angry at you, and you can't, for instance, like pray to your god. To be honest, it's not that big a deal. As long as you are doing the normal kinds of things, which is killing creatures, then your alignment is probably fine. But that said, I would like to finish the monk in sort of like the correct way. I'm gonna eat this cream pie. And that means without body armor, without weapons, keeping my vegetarianism. We'll see. I mean, as I said in the beginning, if I'm about to die, I'm definitely gonna do whatever I need to do to survive. But Detect Monster does a similar or better thing. Figurine of a little dog. Interesting. So we could potentially get a second pet. If we wanted to, we could have two little dog pets. I'm just gonna poke my head down into the mines here. All right, this is definitely the mines. The mines are dark. They aren't always dark, but they're likely to be dark. They're also reasonably dangerous. I think as a neutral character, they tend to be a little less dangerous because you're likely to find some peaceful creatures down here, mostly gnomes and dwarves. For other characters, the mines are very important because you're likely to find dwarves who are wearing things like mithril armor, which is one of the better early game armors you can find. As a monk and with no light source, I think I'm going to avoid the mines for now and just push on into the dungeons of doom. Yeah, so I'm XP level 4. I have reasonable AC, not the best. I have to remember I still have my sleep spell. So like eventually, if I get in trouble, that's like a way to get out of trouble. And I also have jump, so I have to remember that too. These are two things which I'm likely to forget. But if I take my time and I see myself in trouble, so like a pony, for instance, like reasonably tough creature, susceptible to sleep. Let's see if we can kill it. If it does a bunch of damage to us, we'll definitely put it to sleep. Oh no, no problem. A pony is not a big deal. Horses are dangerous. War horses are very dangerous. So you see a stack of things like this. You want to search. Very likely to be a trap here. Nope, no trap. Okay, so we're going to jump in there. There's just a large box, and there's gold pieces. We'll loot it. So there's a wand, a potion, and a scroll. So we're going to try and ID this wand. I don't know, actually. I think wands are never cursed, but I'm going to just drop it and make sure it's not cursed. So something like if it was a wand of wishing, you got super, super lucky. You certainly don't want to waste your charges of a wand of wishing because it's cursed. So again, I'm just going to engrave with my finger. Let's write foo here. The reason for that is there's a polymorph wand, and its effect would be to change anything engraved on the ground to a different message. So then we'll engrave with the long wand, and it vanishes. So the fact that the message vanished means it's one of 3 wands. So we'll call it, where is it? The long wand. So it could be a wand of teleportation. It could be a wand of cancellation. Or it could be a wand of invisibility. Those are the three things it could be. And we can actually figure that out by, let's see here. We'll drop a potion on the ground, one of the ones we don't care as much about. We're going to zap the potion with a wand, and we're going to go on top of it, and you see it's a clear potion. So if the item turns into a clear, so it clears, it turns into water, or the scroll is blank, then that identifies the wand as a wand of cancellation. So wand of cancellation does a lot of different things. You can use it to blank scrolls, so you can rewrite them, or you can turn your potions into water, which is useful for creating big stacks of holy water. You can also use it to zap dangerous creatures to cancel them, remove their special abilities. You have to be careful with a wand of cancellation if you end up having a bag of holding, because putting a wand of cancellation in a bag of holding does bad things. And here we go. An altar. This is the first altar I've seen in the early levels in the last five runs or 5 attempts. So very happy about that. We'll probably spend a lot of time on this floor. There's actually a box over there. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab that box, put it by the altar, and that's going to be our stash. Sorry for the background noise, but we're on a busy road. I spent some time today trying to get the sound right. I got a new microphone, or it's not a new microphone. I've had this microphone for a long time, but I decided to use my nicer microphone. But the problem with that is it's more sensitive, so it's going to pick up more background noise. I do have a plugin for noise reduction, like a gate. I finally got it configured correctly, I think, but it's not perfect. Where's that box? There it is. So we're going to put the large box right next to this altar. Yeah, so altars have a lot of useful purposes, and the first purpose you're gonna use altars for, and you can do this no matter what type of altar it is. This is a lawful altar. Is you can drop things on it. You can drop things which you don't know whether they're blessed or cursed, and it's going to identify them. Not identify them, but identify whether they're blessed, cursed, or uncursed. So we're just going to drop everything on here that we don't know its status, so we can begin to know whether these things are cursed or not. We're not going to bother with the gems, though. One reason for not identifying things is if you do identify things as being blessed or cursed, they won't stack with things which are not identified as blessed or cursed, and you kind of want things to stack. So we have some blessed, if there's an amber flash, that means they're blessed. So we have some blessed darts. If there's no message, that means they're just plain uncursed. If there's a black flash, that means they're cursed. So those 2 Lembas wafers are cursed. Ember flash, so that's a blessed scroll. A blessed scroll of identify, which is actually very useful, because a blessed scroll of identify has about a 20% chance that it will identify everything in your inventory. And okay, everything else. So then you can see in the inventory, things are green if they're blessed, they're red if they're cursed, and then otherwise they're just uncursed. Pick everything back up. And we're going to start to think about stashing some things as well. Basically for weight reasons. So putting away things which we don't really need right now. So like these cursed Lembas wafers, I mean, Lembas wafers are going to be very useful in the end game when weight is at a premium. Lembas wafers are very efficient. But the fact that they're cursed means we probably just don't want them. I'm actually going to put away these eggs. I never eat eggs. They're just too dangerous. They, even if they're not like cockatrice eggs, then they're possibly just rotten, in which case they just cause you all kinds of problems. I think we'll hold on to the rest of the food. These these scrolls, which we're pretty sure are expensive, I'm going to put away just so they don't get burned by accident. Same thing with this Blessed Scroll of Identify and this Scroll of Charging. Put away my spellbooks. So spellbooks are a little dangerous to read. They can stun you or do other things to you. If they're blessed, then you can read them safely. Or if you're a wizard, you can read them and you'll get a message, a warning ahead of time telling you that, this is a particularly difficult spellbook to read. But as a monk, we don't have that luxury, so we will be blessing these spellbooks before we read them. We're going to identify the rest of these potions, price ID them. And the Wand of Cancellation we'll put away as well. I think, yeah, I mean, there's some utility to having it, but the biggest utility is just going to be blanking scrolls and potions to create big stacks of paper or holy water. And the figurine of a little dog, I mean, if it was blessed, we would use it right away because it would give us another pet. So a blessed figurine will, if you apply it, it will create a little dog that will always be tame. If it's just uncursed, then it's likely just to be peaceful. We'll also put away the black gem. We'll put away the touchstone. We're just going to wait until we get some holy water, at least enough that we care. We can spare one for the touchstone. So we're just going to stash all this stuff. Definitely don't want to be burdened. So we want to be put stuff away so that we are not burdened. So the other reason that altars are really important is you can offer corpses on them. So we're going to do a lot of that. So we talked about a little bit about alignment. And so offering corpses on your god's altar increases your alignment greatly, but also has chances of having your god give you gifts. So they'll grant you artifacts. So those might be powerful weapons that you can wield. We don't really care about that. So we just got to level 5. You can see right here, you feel stealthy. So at level 5, monks have the stealth intrinsic. So we're gonna put that here. That means we don't wake up sleeping creatures. Very useful, particularly for large rooms of monsters. There are things like treasure zoos or graveyards. So we're less interested, I think, in the artifacts than other classes might be, because we're unlikely to use the weapons anyway. But what we are interested in doing is if you spend a long time praying to and making your, let's eat again, praying to and making your god happy, then you're likely to be crowned. So if you're crowned, it does a few different things, but the primary use of being crowned is that you get almost every resistance that you would want. So like you get cold resistance, fire resistance, shock resistance, like all of those resistances you get. And as a monk, because we can't get it through other ways that we might normally get it, we're actually very happy to get it. We just killed that Okay, slime mold. I was going to say we can eat those red molds, even as a vegetarian, and they can give you fire resistance, so that would have been nice. So we have dungeon level 4, we have a altar, and then I think a couple levels up we have a general store. Actually, the general store is right there. So like one level up we have a general store. We could actually get a pickaxe and make a little shortcut and have it be extremely close to our stash. Yes, that's true. So corpses, there's a chance to get a corpse. It's increased if the creature is larger. So like giants almost always drop corpses, but smaller creatures more rarely drop corpses. So I think we're going to actually drop our kitten off somewhere. The reason for that is that our kitten will eat corpses, and we really want every corpse we can get to sacrifice on this altar. So I think we'll clear the next level, and then we might leave the kitten here, or maybe on the next level beyond here, depending on what's here. As long as we find a tripration, even if our kitten gets untamed, we can retame it when we find it. Oranges and a potion. So again, we'll go back to the shop and we'll price ID these new things that we're picking up. So I think the very beginning of the game here is going to be reasonably, I mean, maybe not boring, but samey. A lot of going back and forth between the shop and the altar, and price IDing, sacrificing things on the altar. So Uruk-hai are a little dangerous. I mean, they're obviously from the Lord of the Rings. If you watched that, read those books or watched that movie, but they often are created with bows and poisoned arrows. So we have poison resistance, so it's actually less dangerous for us, but lots of characters have died early to a poison arrow from an Uruk-hai. So you see right here, this Uruk-hai had 7 poisoned crude arrows and an orcish bow. So, in different circumstances, that could have been run ending. Sort of looking at what else is here. There's really nothing else we care about. I'm considering picking up the arrows just so that something else doesn't get them, but it's not that big a deal. All right. Iron shoes. Definitely want our jumping shoes more than that. I'm just going to poke my head down here. Actually, maybe I will just leave my kitten down here. Just give us that extra buffer of a floor. The kitten will attack you and eventually get completely untamed, at which point it could be dangerous. We are only XP level 5, because I have to remember that. So things are more dangerous for us still. And kitten, jackal. A ghoul can be dangerous, can paralyze you. But we're doing reasonable amounts of damage just with our martial arts right now. Yeah, so a ghoul could be a problem. They're immune to our sleep spell, as far as I know. And they might paralyze you with their bite. So the other great thing about I'm going to wait till I'm blind here. Other great thing about altars is a happy god you can pray to, and they will do various things for you. One thing they will do is if you are weak from hunger, they will restore your nutrition to a well-fed level. So, like right now we have 4 food rations, which is not going to last us forever. But if you sort of camp the altar, you stay on the altar for a while, then you can basically make your food last forever. So, you can always pray for food, and as long as your God is happy with you and you haven't prayed too recently, and you've offered enough corpses on the altar, then you'll be able to pray again the next time you get weak. So yeah, was there a pickaxe in the general store, or was that a previous run? Good question, BM Corsair. So does the altar prayer god thing only apply to monks? Nope, it applies to every character. There's some subtle differences between, or not so subtle, but there's some differences between alignments. So generally neutral gods, chaotic gods, and lawful gods act a little differently and give you different gifts. But other than that, it acts the same for different classes. I would love a pickaxe, but yeah, we're getting hungry again. Leave these oranges. And I'm just going to do some, well, maybe I'll price ID first. Is this a peaceful? No, not peaceful. Maybe this dwarf will bring me a pickaxe. I'm going to stand just like one space to the left of the altar to make this dwarf step on top of it, just for convenience sake. Then you kill it, and you can step right over, and the corpse is right there. So you do hash offer. We're going to sacrifice it to our god. And because this was I think a lawful altar, there's a conflict between the two gods. So between our god and the lawful god, there's a conflict. Unluckily, the power of our god decreased, and it's still lawful. So sadly, we did not convert the altar. Drop some more things here just to see if they're cursed. True, yeah. Like all those Uruk-hais that I killed, I could have dragged them up. Yeah. Let's put this ring on. It's uncursed. See if it self-identifies. Nope. So we still don't know what it is. Let's see. Dwarvish cloak we don't like, or we don't care about. Put away some things. Let's put away this dagger. Put away the dwarvish cloak. Good enough for now. All right, thanks, Mini Mogul. So that was another run, one of the ones that I was doing earlier today. Eventually, a dwarf will come and bring us one. So do I go back and price ID stuff now? I think I do. We haven't converted the altar yet. Yeah, so pickaxe would be great. I could make a little shortcut here, just to the left. Get to the shop that much quicker. Let's just look here. Anything we're interested in here? It's interesting that those two scrolls, I think there's a random, unidentified items, there's like a random surcharge that's added. So like the one scroll of Create Monster Taming Amnesia Earth is 356, the other is 267. They did that just basically to make it harder to price ID things. Yes, nothing here I care about. So I'm going to drop some things and price ID them. Black Potion for 38. All right. Okay. Effervescent potion. A clear potion is always a potion of water. 19, so that's going to be booze, yeah. See invisible, booze, sickness, or juice. And golden potion for 56. Blindness, invisibility. Okay. And then we've got one scroll for 38. No, it's wrong. Hang on. So, at this price level, there's one scroll it could be that would self-identify. So if you pick up and you drop a scroll, yeah, so multiple times, and it turns to dust when you pick it up, at that price level, that means it's a scroll of Scare Monster. So, I think it was Elam. Was it Elam Elbow? Yeah. So we're gonna actually name that. So if you call capital C and then D, an object in your discoveries list, we're going to call this scroll H Scare Monster. Unfortunately, it didn't give us the option to name it when it turned to dust. If you ever pick up a scroll and it turns to dust, it's always a scroll of Scare Monster, and you can just name it. And what a scroll of Scare Monster does, it's very powerful. It can get you out of some sticky situations. If you drop it at your feet, and you're standing on it, most monsters will run away and be scared while you're standing on the scroll. And that is tempered by the fact that every time you pick the scroll up, it loses one level of blessedness. So if it's blessed, you pick it up off the floor, it becomes uncursed. If it's uncursed, you pick it up, it becomes cursed. If it's cursed and you pick it up off the floor, it turns to dust and disappears. So it has sort of a limited number of times that you can drop it and pick it up and move it and use it somewhere else. You can use it forever if you have enough holy water and you can re-bless it, which is actually a strategy you could use. And see if, what possible ring this could be. A 75 gold ring. I think it could be like 1 million, yeah. There's 1 million different rings it could be. There are a few of them that are very useful. So free action, slow digestion are both ones we really, really want. So we'll hang on to it. We may use our identify scroll just for a stack of rings at some point. Okay, so that's it for the store for now. Let's go back and see if we can convert this altar. All right, kill these rats. Go back to the altar. And let's stash some things as well. So basically anything we are not likely to use without identifying it first, we're going to put away. All right. And then we're just going to wait. We're going to wait some time here. All right, there comes a hill orc. We'll eat some food. I'll get these hill orcs to come over here. They're likely to, because they're a larger creature, they're likely to leave corpses. And they also come in packs, so they're going to be useful for, hopefully, getting some corpses to sacrifice here. That's the first one. Come on over. You don't want to leave corpses out too long because your god is only interested in fresh corpses. They don't want. So an offer. We only got one corpse from all those hill orcs. So unluckily, again. And just to keep the level clear here, I'm just gonna stash everything in here. And I'm gonna actually just bless, curse, identify the stuff that I'm wearing. This uncursed. The gauntlets of power are uncursed. Jumping boots are uncursed. And then Hawaiian shirt. I take the robe off first. We'll take off the Hawaiian shirt. And that's blessed. So that's great. And while we were doing all that, we got surrounded by things. All right, more confident. So we're going to definitely enhance our martial arts here. It's going to be our primary weapon, maybe to the end of the game, but at least for a while. So this floating eye behind me, as long as we don't attack it by accident, we'll be fine. We're just going to leave it there while we deal with everything coming from the other side. It never has an offensive attack. It's hard to see, and it just sits there and waits for you to run into it and be paralyzed and killed. So there's 2 giant rat corpses. So we're not able to convert this altar. I don't know if it's, I'm gonna just offer this too. Okay, finally. You feel the power of Shi Sung Zu increase. The altar glows gray. So now we've turned it into, we can actually look at it, an altar to Shi Sung Zu. And I apologize if anybody speaks Chinese. That's probably terrible. Neutral altar. I finally got it. Yeah, not great luck, but so we're gonna actually put our towel on here, and that will let us kill this floating eye without any danger. And let's put away stuff we don't care about. We will identify that fizzy potion eventually. So now that we've converted the altar, we're probably safe to pray. We're probably safe to pray anyway. You always start the game with the ability to pray at least once. But you're just going to watch out for what message you get from your God when you offer things to it, and that will tell you whether it's safe for you to pray. Is kitten in a box or something? I left the kitten on dungeon level 6. I know I'm terrible, but the reason is that the kitten will eat corpses, and we want all the corpses we can get to offer to our god. So if you see your sacrifice is consumed in a burst of flame, that means it is safe for you to pray. You glimpse a 4-leaf clover at your feet means that you get a luck increase, which is, it affects everything in the game. It's very, very good to get more luck. Let me put my armor back on. Why don't I do that? Killer bees, by the way, are dangerous. Less dangerous because we're poison resistant, but they come in swarms. They're extremely fast. They have poison. I've ended many runs. There actually is a Schrodinger's cat in the game. Maybe we'll see it. Okay, so here's our first sacrifice gift. An object appears at your feet, And the voice of Shi Sung Zu thunders, use my gift wisely. Just keep in mind here that we can't pray right now. I'm just going to put the turn here. So when you're given a gift, it resets your prayer timeout. So it's good and it's bad. So let's see what he gave us. A longsword named Giant Slayer. Terrible. Useless. But we will offer another corpse here. And what you'll see is you have a hopeful feeling. So that means it is not yet safe for you to pray. Put away this junk. We don't want that. And we'll wait. And we'll keep sacrificing things until it's safe for us to pray again. And if we're lucky, we'll be able to do that before we need to eat again. Hopeful feeling again. Each time you sacrifice something on the altar, your prayer timeout is decreased. So it's like there's a number that's counting down each turn until you're able to safely pray again. And by sacrificing things on the altar, you're reducing that. So Wraths are reasonably dangerous. They're large, so they almost always, or maybe always, drop a corpse. They have 3 attacks. They're slow, but they do a lot of damage. I think we can handle it. If we get into trouble, we'll use our sleep spell here. But we just want them to come onto the altar here, so we don't have to do the work of moving the corpses around. The Wrath turns to flee. Interesting. So we did enough damage to that Wrath that it got scared. If we were a knight or something, we would care. All right, so we're gonna pick this up. And we'll start offering these. Hopeful feeling. Hopeful feeling. And we'll offer the one in our inventory. All right, so it's still hopeful. And we got another potion here that we don't know what it is. Does this come with... yeah, so this is not Emacs. This is Vim, just a text editor. Yeah, this is nothing special here. Well, there's a plugin for Vim called VimWiki, which I'm using, which does let me, like do things like check the boxes and whatnot. But yeah, nothing special about this. And then the wiki lets me, go in. So we'd say like level 4 stash. Oop. Level 3 was the general store. Yeah. So nothing special about this. It's just a text editor that I have to the left of my game. I really need this. Otherwise I never remember which intrinsics I've gotten. All right, welcome to level 7. You feel sensitive. So you feel sensitive means that we got warning, and warning is pretty useful. It will things you can't see but which are nearby will appear as numbers if they are based on how dangerous they are. So if it's a 1, they're sort of dangerous. If it's a 2, they're more dangerous, etc. So you can use that to sort of know that there's something coming. If it's dangerous. So I think we're still not safe to pray. The last thing we sacrificed, I think, was still hopeful. So that means we have to eat another of our food rations, unfortunately. All right, we have to kill this gas spore from a distance. So we'll use some darts. I think that's it. Yeah, VimWiki. Yeah, that looks like it. Yep. Yeah, it's you know, it's fine. It's got lets you make links between files, and you know, creates new files with that file name. You know, checklists, things like that. We'll put our towel on here and kill this. Where is it? It's up there. So we'll go offer that floating eye corpse on the altar, and we get a hopeful feeling again. So you see the one over here? This is unknown creature causing you concerns. That there's something over there, which is the fact that it's not moving probably means, yeah, it's like a gray ooze. So gray ooze will rust our gauntlets of power and our dented pot. We can take them off temporarily. And then we can step in and kill it. There we go. Make sure we put those back on afterward. Some jackals coming. And there we get your sacrifice is consumed in a burst of flame without the hopeful feeling message. So that means we can safely pray. I'm just gonna mark it off here so I don't forget. And next time we're weak, we can pray for food if we don't get a gift before then. We still want to keep offering things. It's a shield. We don't care about that. There's another one over there. Let's see what it is. It is a Uruk-hai. I just end up putting everything into my box here that I don't care about or I do care about, so the level doesn't get completely covered in items. I see you see a message there. It says the Orcish bow welds itself to the Uruk-hai's hand. That means it's cursed and it auto-identifies. So we're getting poison arrows shot at us. I mean, we have poison resistance, so it's not particularly dangerous, but I believe they do extra damage even if they don't kill you outright, if you don't have resistance. Get another identify scroll here. Got some more luck. We'll drop the identify scroll on the altar, and it's unfortunately cursed. I mean, cursed scrolls identify still work, but they will only always identify one item. Uncursed scrolls, I think, have like about a 4% chance of identifying everything in your inventory, and blessed ones have like a 20% chance. Here's a bunch of Uruk-hais coming. They come in big groups. I'm not too concerned. Mainly because we have poison resistance. Ones with weapons, you know, can do a large amount of damage to us. Okay, hang on. The Uruk-hai reads a scroll called Temav. The Uruk-hai shudders for a moment. I believe that's a teleportation scroll, it was a cursed one. Let's take a quick look on the wiki. If the teleportation fails, the scroll won't be auto-identified, but it produces teleportation failure messages that the monster shudders for a moment. Okay, so we can name a scroll of Temav if we find it. Is it in our discovery list? It is not. So we're going to just have to, I guess, write that down. I'm unlikely to remember that, but it's in my notes anyway. Yeah, so like this would be a dangerous situation if we didn't have poison resistance. Any one of those arrows could have ended our run. Bunch of stuff here. I'm gonna grab the corpses while they're still fresh. Got our second artifact here. We've got Mjolnir. So interesting. I mean, that's actually a reasonably good weapon. I believe it does 1d20 shock damage. So here's a scroll called Temav. So let's go ahead and name that right away. Yeah, so Mjolnir is, I mean, obviously, it's Mjolnir, right? So, but it does a bunch of damage, even if you're not particularly good at hammers, which we are not. So we didn't actually get, so that's interesting. So you see now under our weapon skills, there's longsword and hammer. I believe that's because we were gifted Giant Slayer and we were gifted Mjolnir. We can now enhance those up to basic level. Yeah, so how do you know Temav was teleport? So back in our message log, actually it's probably, I can't see it now, but so one of the Uruk-hai read a scroll called Temav, and they shuddered for a moment. So that's just a message that you get if the teleportation fails. So in that case, it was a cursed scroll of teleport, which teleports you to a different level, rather than teleporting you to a different place on the same level. And you can randomly just be teleported to the same level, in which case you just shudder for a moment. So by seeing that message in the chat log, we knew that Temav was teleportation. Hopeful feeling. So again, we cannot pray. And this is a little bit annoying just because we're kind of burning through our food. I'm very tempted by Mjolnir. I mean, it's a good weapon, and it's good even if you're not like good at hammers. But I kind of want to stick to my guns. I want to stick to being a monk and doing monk things. So we're just going to put it in the box. We'll remember it's there if we start feeling like we're out of our depth, we really need something extra, then maybe we will get Mjolnir. I mean, the wiki says you can get to the end of the game using martial arts, so challenge accepted. So it's very useful to have teleportation, basically an escape spell in your inventory. So I'm going to keep this scroll of teleportation in my inventory just in case we get into a situation we need to escape quickly. Put away this other unidentified scroll. And I think we'll wait some more time. Don't try and, you can't try and, I mean, you can't offer zombie corpses at your altar. They're too old. Oh, good point. We can throw Mjolnir because we have the Gauntlets of Power. It will not return to us because we're not a Valkyrie. But that might actually be a good thing. So if you're a Valkyrie and you have Gauntlets of Power, you can actually throw Mjolnir, and it'll come back to you. Just like Thor from the comic books. But I believe we can throw it. Because we have the Gauntlets of Power, it just won't return to us. And again, I think that's a good thing, because if it returns to you, you have a dexterity out of 20 chance of catching it. Something like that. But there's always some small chance that you're going to fail to catch it, like 1 out of 20. If you fail to catch it, then it hits you. If it hits you, then it shocks you, which can destroy all the wands in your inventory. It's a mess. Throwing doesn't count as using a weapon. We've already been throwing things, so I think if throwing items counts as using weapons, then we're already not. We've failed at that. But yeah, I think just using it as a thrown weapon should be fine, as long as we don't wield it. I like that idea. And we're going to have to eat some more food, which I hate. Maybe. Nope, we're fine. So sacrifice is consumed in a burst of flame, so we can safely pray. Mark that off there. So I think we'll save ourselves a food ration here. Let's put away that stuff. And now we're weak. So what we're going to do is we're going to step on the altar now that we're weak. We're going to drop this clear potion on the altar. And we're going to pray. So only do this if you know you can safely pray. Last prayed 4890. Yes, we'll add that. You begin praying to Shi Sang Zu. You're surrounded by a shimmering light. You finish your prayer. The potion in your altar glows light blue for a moment. You feel that Shi Sang Zu is well pleased, and your stomach feels content. So we now have a potion of holy water, and we were satiated. We were given nutrition by our God. Yeah, so 4965. Mjolnir destroys rings. It destroys wands. Yeah. But it is cool to throw it. And it might be worthwhile if there's something we need to kill from a distance. Oh, nice. Well, so an elven mithril coat being brought to you by a hobbit. First of all, that means it's probably Bilbo, right? But it's usually great for characters. It's not great for us because we're not going to be using body armor, though. But they also brought a wand, which we will identify. Using a bad weapon and allowing enemies to use items also destroys loot. Yes. like when they use those charges of the Wand of Death. Welcome, Luxy Dream. I have to mention Luxy Dream also streams Nethack on occasion. He did some streams of Nethack speed runs where two players are head to head. They both use the same seed, and they're both trying to defeat or ascend simultaneously. It's really great stuff. All right, so we get a message here engraving. The floor is riddled by bullet holes. So that means that this wand is a wand of magic missiles. I'm sorry to hear it. Just really busy or any health issues or... And you're not you're not required to stream every week. Like, people get busy, and real life gets in the way, and that's totally fine. So we can pray again. And currently the plan is to basically altar camp until we get crowned. Go back down to the shop to price ID things. Basically be cowardly. But that's how you can win the game. If you're not speedrunning. So Thon Club is actually interesting, as it's a range weapon that comes back to you, so you can use it forever, I believe. Give it a try. As instead of our darts, I mean, we're not going to have any skill in darts either. We'll try quivering it, see how it works. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. It's a scary time right now with thing going on, so everyone's health is fine. It's engrave test this wand. A few ice cubes drop from the wand, so it's a wand of frost. So wands of frost are cold. Wands of cold are actually pretty useful in certain cases. You can freeze water. So in a pinch, if you need to get over a moat or something, you can freeze the water and just walk over it. It can also be used to kill the things that are living in the water. can never get past Gehenna due to impatience or boredom. You just have to change your, it's like, it takes a long time, but I don't know, I find Gehenna somehow comforting. Like if I'm ready to be going through Gehenna, then usually it's pretty safe. And, just take your time, explore the levels, map your way down. All right, so we're weak. We can safely pray. So we're going to do that to save some food. Yeah, the castle is quite interesting. And let us know how many, if you want any spoilers or not, but I'll just say there is an item you're guaranteed to find in the castle that is game changing. I know, Lexi Dream. I'm not a speedrunner. So Nymph will steal her stuff. I'm just using one of my magic missile charges here to soften it up, and hopefully I can kill it. Yep. And then nymphs are extremely likely to have potions of object detection. So I'm going to call this potion object detection ? And it's cursed. Yeah. No, I can just feel you judging me. I should have been done by now. But yeah, once I get every roll ascended once, then I'll try some speedruns. Ouch. That Wrath did 24 points of damage to us. They definitely can hit hard. Just gonna see what is in this tin. Lichens. We can eat that. All right, here come giant ants. They're fast. They come in groups. They can be dangerous. Yeah. Yeah, like I ended up using the wiki for pretty much everything. But I know some people want to play the game blind. I would say, and I don't know if everyone's experience is like this, but I didn't start winning the game until I started using the wiki. Like, I feel like you can discover some things just through experimentation, but there are some things you're just not going to learn without spoiling yourself. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's been my experience. Eventually, if you want to get to the next level in Nethack, you're probably going to have to cave and start to look at some of the spoilers. So pudding. Again, I'm going to take off the things that this pudding will potentially rust, and we'll just kill it. So glob of gray ooze, I'm pretty sure is vegetarian. I'm gonna look it up. I'm trying to keep that. A glob it can convey resistances that we want, but isn't meaty. Vegetarian. Vegetarians may, on top of vegan foods, eat globs of gray ooze and brown pudding, so we can eat it. So we're going to eat this. It is acidic, so it's going to do some damage. And we feel especially healthy, so that was just poison resistance again, which we already had. Yeah, there's really no way for me to not spoil some things too, just from watching the stream. But I would say don't feel too bad about that. Like, I agree with Luxy Dream. Wet towels, when worn, have damage from gas clouds. Wow. The dangerous ones are the vortexes. I don't know if it helps with those. Okay, so here's another message that you get. You have a feeling of reconciliation. So that's what you get when that corpse pushed you over the edge, and you can pray safely. So our timeout is finally back to 0 for the prayer. Yeah, that's next level. Like, when you've already learned everything that you can possibly learn from the wiki, you have to start digging through the source code. I was wondering about the wet. Every time my towel gets wet, and this happens every time that I've gone through the plane of water, I wonder if it weighs more. Like, am I more burdened by a wet towel than I am from a dry towel? I definitely heard from somebody, maybe it was you, Luxy Dream, that wet towels do more damage when used as a weapon. I wasn't sure about whether they burden you more. Steam or stinking clouds. Okay. That makes sense. You put a wet rag over your face to protect you from gases. Towel wetty is mostly a joke, yeah. What is this? This is Urukai. So we can get them to come back closer to the altar. You don't think they weigh more? That's good. This is a gas spore. Let's throw... Ouch. Okay, so Brilliant Blue Potion evaporates. This burns. So that's a potion of acid. If you blow up this gas spore, it's going to kill the things around it. Let's try this Thonged Club. It worked. So we killed it. The iguanas caught in the gas spore's explosion and killed. It didn't come back to us, though. I don't know why I thought thong clubs would come back to you. Maybe I was wrong about that. I thought they were like you held on to the cord and were able to pull it back. Another potion of object detection, we're pretty sure. And a wand. Oh, needs to be wielded. Yeah, we're not going to do that yet. And Mjolnir only returns to Valkyries. That's a good thing, we think. We think that the fact that Mjolnir is not going to come back to me is actually a good thing. So let's engrave test the zinc wand. No message. So we're going to call that zinc, no message. So there's a variety of different things that could be, including a wand of nothing. Yeah, so the Thonged Club is less useful then if it doesn't come back to us. So Actually, put it away for now. A lichen, we can eat that. And we can pray. So let's go ahead and do that. And we'll just keep track of that in case we need prayer later. 6732. It makes sense that when you wield it, it's gotta. When you wield it, then you can grab the strap and bring it back. But that's gonna make us lose our weaponless, voluntary. What's it called? Conduct. Never hit with a wielded weapon. We're likely to like accidentally hit something with that pickaxe, to be honest. So should we keep the looking glass? Probably should hang on to one. It'll help us with nymphs and possibly with gaze attacks as well. This is what, neutral? It's peaceful. We're going to kill the peaceful things, even though you get an alignment penalty from doing that. Potion called Restore Ability, Confusion, Hallucinate. You yawn. Okay. So this one has Restore Ability X Heal. So we're going to call that in the discoveries list. It's got to be R, right? Yeah. It was this one. We'll call this one Sleep. Oh, we actually don't need to call it. It was it already identified. And I didn't actually know that we had sleep resistance. Is that a monk thing we got? I'm just looking in the wiki here at the skills we get. Doesn't look like. Oh, we get at level 1, we get See Invisible, Sleep Resistance, and Speed. Okay, I didn't have those marked off. So that's actually quite nice. So See Invisible, Sleep Resistance, and we have Speed. So actually having intrinsic speed plus jumping boots may be like all we need for the rest of the game. As far as mobility goes. Talking about the end of the game like we're going to survive to the end of the game. Reflection is really going to be the thing, I think, that, and magic resistance are going to be the things that are going to be difficult to get and are going to make the difference about whether we survive or not. So that was an invisible mortar orc, and we could see it because we have See Invisibility. So do we have a, yeah, we have 2 uncursed potions called Object Detection. I'm gonna drink one of those. You feel much better. So actually I was wrong. Fortunately it's self-identified, so. That potion that the nymph had was extra healing. We're actually happy to see that. So now we have 3 potions of healing, 1 potion of extra healing. The next potion that a nymph drops will definitely be object detection. Be a little careful about where creatures. You don't want to sacrifice them on an altar if you're not chaotic, because they count as human. And as you imagine, human sacrifice is bad if you're not chaotic. I'll just leave the rest up to your imagination. Jaguars are pretty tough melee creatures. I think we'll be able to handle it. Yep, no problem. AC4 is not amazing. It's pretty bad, actually. We would really love to get some enchant armor scrolls and just start enchanting up our Hawaiian shirt, our jumping boots, our gauntlets of power. Like, all these things could be enchanted up. Just making our god super, super happy with us and almost hoping that he crowns us. Although the other thing that's happening while we're camping the altar is we're not wasting food, and creatures are bringing us things, right? So we just need to wait here, and they're going to bring us interesting wands and potions and scrolls. And by not pushing further down into the dungeon, things will tend to stay a little less dangerous. I mean, they'll still increase in their difficulty due to your experience levels going up, but I think they tend to be a little bit easier than they would otherwise be. So we're going to pray. And I didn't actually change this last time, but we'll just update the turn we last prayed. Is this a peaceful? Yeah, peaceful. I think we'll attack it. I mean, they can be pretty tough, but I was going to ask actually if anybody knew. So my impression is that peaceful creatures. Can we actually pick this up? We can't lift it up. Peaceful creatures will. If there's too many peaceful creatures on your level, then non-peaceful creatures will not spawn. I don't know if that's true, but that's just the impression I get. Or fewer creatures will spawn. And the small alignment penalty you get is quickly negated by offering things at the altar. So we just got another enhancement of our martial arts. So now we're an expert. I'm going to actually do a little tour of the level because there are a lot of sleeping and sessile creatures that just sort of stay in one place. So we're going to clean them up. Yeah, look here. There's like a bunch of things right here. A nymph, a rock piercer, a food ration's good. Another rock piercer. This is a peaceful monkey. Monkeys will steal stuff. They're not quite as annoying as nymphs because they don't teleport, they just run away. Oof, okay, well, that probably woke things up. Yeah, it sure did. So both nymphs are woken up. Let's give this throwing Molnir thing a try. So let's throw H. It must be wielded before it can be thrown. So I think we can wield it and then throw it. I mean, from what I was reading about the conduct, let me just look at this one more time. Never hit with a wielded weapon. You have to wield it, and then if you wield it and you throw it, I think you're fine. It's just if you can't hit with a wielded weapon. It's unusual, or I don't know why. I guess the reason why you need to wield it first is so if you're not neutral, it will blast you as an intelligent artifact. The massive hammer hits, lightning strikes the water nymph, you kill the water nymph. And we pick up Mjolnir again. And then we're pretty sure that this potion C here is detect object. I could be wrong again. We'll wield Mjolnir again. We'll back up. We'll throw Mjolnir. Massive hammer hits, lightning strikes the mountain nymph. You kill the mountain nymph. I like it. I think this is really good, actually. Is that a shrieker? We don't really need the poison resistance that it would provide us with. But we'll kill it anyway. All right. So we're burdened by the nymph. We may... Oh, here comes another nymph, maybe. Let's drop the corpse. I don't think we'll be able to get it back to the altar before it's... Let's wield Mjolnir just in case we need to throw it. This is just a snake. So we're going to wield our bare hands. And we'll kill it the old-fashioned way. And I think we'll kill the monkey too. Maybe we'll do it with Mjolnir. Just so it doesn't steal anything we really need. Wow, it survived a strike of lightning. There's something about being a monk who throws Mjolnir around. It's pretty cool. Are you headed off, Mini Mogul? If you are, thanks for joining us. It's like a really pretty good thrown weapon too. It's a yellow light. They're normally invisible, but we can see invisible. We'll put our towel on just so we don't get blinded. Here comes a ghoul again. They can paralyze you. Pretty dangerous. I think we'll be okay. I suppose we could. We're faster than it. We can throw the Mjolnir at it. Soften it up. Here comes another jaguar. I mean, it did a reasonable amount of damage to us. All right, we can pray. Just mark that off. So the hill orc staggers. That means you stunned it. Get rid of some of this stuff that's weighing us down. Plain whistle. Let's just detect this stuff here. So we have a blessed potion of detect object. We're going to use one of these. We'll drink the non-blessed one. I don't actually know the difference, if there is any difference between blessed and unblessed. I'm going to look it up out of curiosity here. Object detection. You exercise your wisdom. And it also tells you what the items are. Oh, and you learn the appearance of every item in your inventory. We'll drink it. We're likely to turn the rest of these potions of object detection into water anyway. So we actually found quite a few things here. Found some gold and some gems. There's a stone here. Probably just normal rocks, right? Would a rock show up as a stone? Or are these possibly luck stones? That'd be unusual, I think. Curved sword, orcish helm, so those are probably held by more hill orcs, I would imagine. And some gold pieces, might be a leprechaun. So I'm actually curious about these stones. I may dig out and just see what they are. Maybe there's a path going that way. You know what? That's probably just from a rock mole digging out. Tud Cresinator, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Let's throw a mole near at this floating eye, just for the fun of it. We're not wielding, right? Yeah, okay. And let's offer the floating eye corpse here. So we can pray. Yep, that's already marked off. Yeah, so the rocks there is just because there's a rock mole here that had been digging out and just leaving trails of rocks behind it. Nothing interesting. Where's that hill orc going? It's scared of us, I think. Okay. Well, there's a large box here. That's unusual. To have a hill orc carrying a large box around. So we can actually do, and just because we have the, you know, 2 large boxes, we can separate stuff out. We can have one junk box, you know, one interesting stuff box. So we'll take out stuff that we actually care about. I guess we care about Giant Slayer. It's kind of junk, but maybe we'll sell it. I don't think it's even worth carrying for points over just gold. We don't care about any of this. We care about the Limbus wafers, if we can uncurse them. All these scrolls we want. We want the spell books, potions, the wand of cancellation we want, and the gems we'll take, and the touchstone. We're going to put all the useful stuff in the right chest. At this point, do we need darts? I don't know if we need 2 stacks of darts. We probably don't need the spears. We have Molnir, and then we have darts if we just need, you know, to deal with something like a jelly. That's going to sit on top of Molnir if it doesn't kill it. We should probably take the cursed items out when we're praying. In fact, maybe we'll just leave them in our inventory. And put away some of those food rations so we're not burdened. Each time you pray, if you have cursed items in your inventory, there's some chance that your god will just uncurse everything in your inventory. So having cursed stuff in your inventory is not terrible when you're altar camping like we are. Put away these scrolls that we are unidentified. Put away the scrolls of identify. We'll actually keep the cursed scroll of identify in our inventory as well. Put away charging and these spell books. Holy water we can put away for now. Although we have cancellation, so pretty soon I think we can start clearing potions, turning them to water and just making stacks of holy water. I'm going to put the cancellation away as well. Just it's a good utility wand, but probably not worth carrying in our inventory. And we'll put away one looking glass. I think having one is good. And these gems. All right. So that appeals to me. Now we have a box for junk and a box for useful stuff. So this is junk. So get rid of all this. Come on over. This hill orc is just running away from us. Come on. Yeah, sorry about the background noise there. People go cruising down in this street and you can hear them on the stream. Identify this scroll of identify. Wait, it's just uncursed. So usually I like to make a stack of identify scrolls and then bless them all at once. It's an efficient way to get a bunch of things identified all at the same time. Let's do a rounds, do some rounds here. Just check if there's different sleeping monsters that are hanging out. There's a nymph here. We can attack the nymph from here. And then we can always use the looking glass if she gets close. So let's temporarily wield Molnir and we'll throw Molnir that way. Okay, so we kill it. And we can actually carry the nymph back to the altar. Yep. All right. I think we're probably at our limit for looking glasses. What is this? A lizard. So a lizard corpse is useful to have. No spoilers, but if you can have a lizard corpse, you should probably just keep it in your inventory for the rest of the game. If you're interested in knowing why, then the wiki's there for you. Green mold. Okay, let's take off Dented Pot. Take off the Gauntlets of Power temporarily. We'll punch this thing to death. Pretty sure green mold doesn't have any... it's probably poisonous. It's acidic when you eat it and doesn't convey any resistances, so we'll just take it to the altar. All right, beginning to feel weak, so we're going to pray again. Step on the altar to pray. And we're back to satiated. Put the Dendropot and the Gauntless Power back on. This is to keep this up to date. This might take a while for us to be crowned. If anything interesting happens, I'll try and bring it up. But right now, it's pretty much, we're in a pattern here. Cram ration. Some more food. So we might actually eat here because we're not safe to pray yet, as far as I know. We'll eat that cram ration we just picked up. Actually, we'll eat the lichen corpse first. Try and do it in reverse order from the most nutritious to the least. The least nutritious to the most nutritious. So we're gonna eat the cram ration next. These are just jackals. So wargs or wolves can be a little tanky, a little tough. They deal a lot of damage. But jackals are not much trouble at this point. And I think they're pretty much the same color. So you have to be careful about that. I'm holding on to the lichen corpse just because they provide some nutrition and they last forever. And they're vegetarian, so it's like food we can hold on to. So we just got a message, your sacrifice is consumed in a burst of flame, so we can safely pray again. I will forget if I don't mark it. And this is a white unicorn. This is actually an amazing thing for a few reasons. One is it's a really good sacrifice gift. Your god loves it when you sacrifice a unaligned unicorn on the altar. Definitely don't sacrifice a gray unicorn if you're neutral. But second, they have a unicorn horn. They're guaranteed to drop one, which is useful for a lot of different things. It's a little, I mean, it did, let's see. It did a bunch of damage to us. 18 damage or something. Yeah. Okay, hang on. Let's back off. And let's think about this, because I think sleep will not work on it. It'll be a little tough to get in line with it too. They always move a knight's move away from you to prevent from getting hit by missile weapons. Definitely going to be careful here. It hits hard. We have speed, we have a jump. I'm wondering if we can jump to a place where we can actually either zap it with sleep or throw a Mjolnir at it. Think about just drinking a potion of healing just So we're not anywhere close to death here. Let's try jumping. If we're lucky, we can jump and then zap in the same turn. Nope. I don't know if they're like guaranteed to always be a knight's move away from you, but try this one more time. Yeah, it seems like they are faster than us. So zapping is going to be tough because... Oh, sorry, zap it as a question, yeah. So we have a sleep spell. I'm just looking here. I think you can put them to sleep. They probably have some magic resistance. Yeah, they have magic resistance of 70. And that's like something I don't really... let's see. It's a percentage. I don't know, we'll just say it's like a 70% chance they will not be put to sleep. That's probably more complicated than that. So yeah, Molnir may be the way we deal with this. It's just, I don't think we're ever going to be able to get to a place where we can attack it with a missile weapon. And it's dangerous to get close to it. Wish we had like protection or something to increase our armor class. It's definitely tricky. Potions of healing. As long as we're careful, we're not going to die. And they tend to stay away from you too, so you can somewhat safely just stand in one place and heal back up. So maybe the play is we heal back up to full health, and then we step in close to it and deal as much damage as we can, and then heal up with a potion or step away and re-heal up by waiting. We definitely want to kill this thing. Okay, so we can safely pray. Actually, getting the unicorn in a hallway probably means we can attack it, right? Oh, it teleported away. So that's what they do. It's probably right there. Yeah, it just teleported. So you can't get it in a hallway either. Yeah, AC4 is just not quite enough to prevent it from dealing massive amounts of damage to us, just in a single round as we step in. But yeah, we're going to just heal up to full as much as we can. Put a towel on for a second here. Let that yellow light blow up. 1 second. So, almost back up to full. So I think we just step in, try and deal some damage, take some damage, and then step back and heal back up. All right, so now we're back up to pretty much full here. So we want to wait. Let's pray, because we're weak. Okay, so now we are no longer weak. We can't pray. Just keep track of the turn in case it matters. And we're going to try and corner this thing, deal some damage to it, and then escape. So it only did, it only did 3 points of damage. So we can take a swing at it, and we kill it. All right, so that was actually not as bad as I was thinking it would be. We're going to carry this thing to the altar and make our god very happy. You feel you are thoroughly on the right path. Your sacrifice is consumed in a burst of flame. You have a hopeful feeling. We're going to drop the unicorn horn, and we're going to adjust it to you, because we're going to be using that unicorn horn for restorability and to test potions and remove sickness, basically to the end of the game. So now we can actually go to our useful chest here, and we'll pull out a bunch of potions here. Because one thing that Unicorn Horn will do for you is allow you to identify potentially dangerous or bad potions. So, for instance, this potion, which could be See Invisible, Booze, Sickness, or Juice. That one we'll go ahead and dip the Unicorn Horn into it. Nothing happens, and so we know it's not sickness, because if it was sickness, then the potion would have changed. So we're going to call this in our inventory, and we're going to change this to See Invisible, Booze, or Juice. And actually, we'll just drink it. Well, yeah. This is one of the potions that's hard to identify. I guess it's not really that important, but if it's booze, we'll identify it. If it's not, you get the same exact message for drinking See Invisible as you do for juice, particularly when you already have the See Invisible intrinsic. So I'm actually going to name it again. I'm going to call it See Invisible and Juice, because we should get an opportunity to rename it if it is booze. We're going to drink it. So oomph, this tastes like liquid fire. That means it's booze. So we'll name it in the discoveries list. Let's see, where is it? This one is booze. That'll actually be a useful scroll to have some of. A useful potion to have some of later in the game. So blind, invisible, detect, or energy. We can dip in that one safely as well. And we're going to rename this one as well, just to make it easier to find. Blind, invisible, detect, energy. Put a question mark here. And we're going to dip the unicorn horn in it. Be a little careful about dipping your unicorn horn into potions you don't know what they are, because if it's a polymorph, you'll end up losing your horn. All right, so it didn't change, so we know that one's not blindness. And we can actually drink it. Do we want to be invisible? Well, it'll be temporary if we drink it, right? If it's blessed, is it permanent? It is. So we don't want to drink this until we want to become permanently invisible. I think as soon as we find some mummy wrapping, we can become permanently invisible without any trouble. Invisible is actually pretty good for us. Like, I think the robe is really good in terms of allowing us to cast spells even while we're wearing Gauntlets of Power. So we may just keep the robe, or at least, until we find magic resistance. It's unlikely that we would ever use a cloak of displacement or invisibility, so being invisible is probably going to be a pretty good defensive trait for us to have. I'm going to go ahead and drink it. We won't be able to go to the store until we get mummy wrapping if we do turn invisible, but yep, so we're invisible permanently. So good news, bad news, I guess. Let me just see if it did identify. It did. So we're definitely much more defensive now. There's some disadvantages. It's going to be harder to lure creatures to the altar. Like we may have to chase them down and drag them back here. Also, we can't go into the shop until we find a mummy wrapping. But yeah, with a 4 armor class, I think, having this additional defensive attribute is worthwhile. So let's dip into one of these potions as well. Actually, let me just double check. This is hallucinate or confuse, heal or sleep. It clears. So the Puce potion is going to be blindness. Or hallucination, rather. So we'll name that. I think the only thing that clears in this list is hallucination. So let's call this one hallucination. So that's identified. We can actually clear it also with the unicorn horn just because we want the water. Make potions of water, which we can later turn into holy water. Yeah, so kind of a bummer that was invisibility, but also kind of good. It just, it will be good eventually. Right now, it's going to make our life a little more difficult, but that's fine. Yeah, so like things will just kind of wander around. We'll have to chase them down. Play Talon, deal with this floating eye. Reconciliation, so that means we can pray again. And I'm just going to go for like another 20 minutes here. It is getting to that point of the night where I need to attend to some things. I'm pretty happy with this run so far. I think this is sort of the safe way to go about it. And we're getting some of the important things checked off here. A nymph over there. There's a brown mold. This is a way to get cold resistance and maintain our vegetarian conduct. So killed it. Didn't leave a corpse though. Oh, and that woke up the nymph. We'll use a looking glass here. Oh, okay. So that's actually, this is another funny message and an interaction which I didn't think about, but we're invisible, so showing the wood nymph a looking glass, which normally would cause her to be distracted and teleport away, doesn't work. So instead, I think we just have to try and kill her before she can steal our stuff. Seduces us and we take off our gloves. Oof. And she steals our gauntlets of power. Fortunately, she just ended up right here. We can't throw Mjolnir because she has her gauntlets of power. We can throw darts. All right. Definitely the most annoying thing for her to steal were our gauntlets of power. Put them back on. And we'll offer that corpse. So I guess now there's basically no reason to have a looking glass or a mirror in our inventory. So we're going to put them into the junk box here. So we have another scroll to identify here. And another potion of object detection to turn into water with our cancellation wand. Not having telepathy is really annoying. I think a helmet telepathy might actually be worthwhile over our dented pot. So we're going to do a little cleanup of the level. Just going to see what things are just around. Throw Mjolnir at this nymph. And we'll fire some darts at her. Okay. All right, back to the altar. Okay. And put away the looking glass. And we'll keep just looking around here for a minute. See what else we see. Yeah, there are things blocking these passages. This is a spotted jelly. So it's going to corrode things. I think we just, again, take off our gauntlets and our helmet and just punch it. It's going to do damage to us. I don't think a spotted jelly is quite as bad as some of the other jellies that are acidic. 47, it's pretty bad. We'll do it one more time. Yeah, okay. Not the end of the world. Acidic things like that are dangerous basically till the end of the game. There's no acid resistance, except for one very niche item, which almost nobody ever wears, which is the alchemist's smock. A leprechaun. We got no gold on us, so this will be easy. What's in this room? Another jelly. There's a paper golem and a floating eye. Put the towel on. Kill the floating eye. Another potion we don't know what it is. Interesting. And then we'll get some unlabeled scrolls here. Again, let's take off the stuff that's going to be corroded and kill some of this acidic stuff. And we'll go back to the altar. All right, anything to identify? Yes. right, so we'll dip again in this potion. I'm going to call it. So we know it's not booze. We'll do sick question mark, and then we'll dip the unicorn horn in it. And it doesn't clear, so we know it's not sickness. So we will call it again. Actually, it wouldn't clear. It would turn into fruit juice. And we will drink the potion, I guess. I mean, it's actually not going to identify regardless, because it's either see invisible or juice, and they both give the same message. So maybe we actually don't drink it. We just clear it. Put away some things. We might have enough potions now to make it worthwhile to clear them with one of our charges of our cancellation wand. How many potions do we have that are junk? We have 2 potions of water, and we have 4 potions we could clear. So that would be 6 total potions. Yeah, I think that's worthwhile. In fact, we don't have to waste the 1 potion of holy water. We'll just pray with these on the altar next time we pray. We can get the wand of cancellation. I'm sort of eager to bless our unicorn horn and maybe that touchstone too, just for fun. All right, so we'll drop some potions in the ground here. The see invisible or juice. Although I don't think juice ever clears, right? So if we zap it and it doesn't clear, then it's juice, and if it does clear, it was see invisible. Is that how it works? I'm actually not sure. All right, the object detection and the sleeping also. So that's 4. We have 2 other clear potions. Do you want to clear potions of healing or this cursed potion of extra healing? I think we could definitely use those potions. They'll save our life sometime, so we're going to hang on to those. And did I get the wand? Yes. So we will zap the wand of cancellation. And yeah, so it didn't change, which makes me think it's juice for sure. Because if it was see invisibility, then it would cancel. No, never mind. If canceled, the potion of see invisible will turn into a potion of fruit juice. So it's actually impossible to identify or tell the difference without identify scroll. And unfortunately, we can't get more holy water from those potions either. So we do have 5 clear potions ready to go. So next time we pray, we'll turn those in holy water and we'll start blessing some things. What's this down here? It is a dust vortex. They're not terribly dangerous. They do blind you. So here's a point where you can actually use the unicorn horn to restore your sight. There must be a secret door here. Yep. We'll push that stone out. Just clear that path. Let's not attack it. Again, let's take off things that can be corroded, and then we'll attack it. This is a blue jelly, so that will do a lot of damage to us with cold. Is it meaty? Probably not. It's considered vegan, so it's actually pretty good in that it may give us cold resistance. We do have to be careful because it will do a lot of damage to us without cold resistance. So we will wield Mjolnir and throw it and kill it. So blue jelly corpse will eat it for sure. No luck. And we'll push this stone through. Right. Juice doesn't appear to clear when unicorn horn dips. That's right. Yeah, so... Yeah, and there's basically no way to determine the difference between juice and see invisible potions because they both act exactly the same. And cancellation will just turn see invisibility into a potion of juice, which again doesn't clear with cancellation. So basically a useless potion. Can you clear it with water? I wonder if you can actually clear juice. I think you can dilute juice. So if we could find a fountain or a rust trap, we might be able to dilute juice into water. There's a dwarf. Let's kill it. And we got a pickaxe. So that's another very useful thing that we'll use pretty much till the end of the game. As long as it's not cursed. And it's not. So I'm actually going to adjust that. Sorry. ADJ. Adjust the pickaxe to P. And get rid of some junk here. We have another scroll called Create Monster Taming, Amnesia, or Earth. Yep, finally a pickaxe. I knew we would get one eventually. What am I putting away? I'm putting away scrolls. And we're beginning to feel weak. We can pray. Of course, if I've kept track of that correctly, which I think I have. So we're going to drop the clear potions on the altar, and then we'll pray. Hark, mortal, to enter the castle, thou must play the right tune. Okay, so now that we have 5 potions of holy water, we can start dipping things in them. So I think the first priority is to bless our unicorn horn. Or let's call it water, sorry. What else could we bless? At this point, eventually we'll want to bless the towel, just so it doesn't get cursed. I don't think it's a high priority. I think I'll bless the touchstone. So we can identify these gems. And maybe I'll actually call adjust the touchstone to something I can remember. Maybe capital T. So worthless black glass, green glass, orange glass, and white glass. Not a surprise. You're much more likely to find worthless glass than something while at the beginning of the game. But now we have the ability to identify gems, which is useful. Will prevent us from carrying worthless glass around for too long. Okay, so we can't pray. We just prayed. We prayed around so we'll finish just clearing out this level. See if there's anything else kind of hanging out. Yeah, I really would like to know the answer to that, like whether leaving monsters or peaceful monsters or sessile monsters just hanging out in your level will prevent more monsters from spawning. It feels like that would be the case, but I don't know for sure. So gold is actually going to be useful for us as a monk in particular, because we can take the gold down to the aligned altar in, or the aligned altar in Minetown, and turn it into points of protection, which is very important for us because we're going to be hurting for AC for a long time. Let's see if we can get some cold resistance this time. So again, we'll throw Molnir at this blue jelly. Cool, and we feel perceptive, which I believe means we got searching. Beautiful day outside, glad to hear it. Definitely get out there, get some exercise. Thank you for joining us this morning, and I hope you enjoy the beautiful day. So being perceptive means that we have searching, which is a useful thing to have. And there is a blue jelly corpse here, so we're going to eat that. And no luck. No cold resistance. I gotta attend to something just for a moment here. Sorry, I received a request I need to attend to, and I will be back in a minute. Okay, that should be good. All right, and back to it. And let's see here. The other thing we can do is just dig around a little bit here. Get some gold. Not a lot of gold, but might as well pick it up. Yeah, at dungeon level 4, these piles of gold are going to be very small. So I don't love making pits, but we can always fill them in later. Ooh. I knew I was going to do that eventually. Just got rid of the weaponless conduct right there. We were using our pickaxe and forgot to unwield it. Oh well, it's going to happen sooner or later. Now we can wield Mjolnir and use it if we want to. That's a really hard one to keep an entire game and not mess up. Oh, okay, so hexagonal wand is digging. It should have auto identified. We can look in our discoveries here. And yep, so we know what the wand of digging is. Got a couple more gems we can identify. And again, we're hitting things with our pickaxe. I feel like maybe we're being a little bit more careless than I should be, which probably means I should stop. At some point you start to lose your concentration. I mean, losing that one conduct is not the end of the world, of course, but it just means that we're likely to do something more dangerous or even fatal. Attacking a floating eye without putting our towel on. Let's see here. Let's identify these gems. So red glass, violet glass. Yep, so we're just identifying all the glass. Means we won't have to pick it up anymore. I'm putting them into the wrong place, actually. I should be putting these gems into the junk drawer. So let me just finish cleaning out this area and of all this gold and stuff. Probably stop then. All right, see if we can. 4-leaf clover, so we're able to safely pray again. It's probably a good place to be. We'll finish getting the rest of this gold. Actually fill in some of these pits with boulders. What is this? Another nymph. Take care of that. Use Mjolnir, throw Mjolnir, kill it. All right. Rune dagger. Another couple of gems we can identify. And I think there's one more gem up there. We can dig up to. There's another blue jelly. Maybe we'll get lucky this time. That's just glass. Let's see, fire. No blue jelly corpse. So there's a couple of jelly, or there's a jelly in here. Spotted jelly. Take off our corrosion susceptible things and we'll kill it. All right, let's use our touchstone on these gems we picked up. So we have a jetstone and blue glass. We'll get rid of our blue glass here. And anything else? Yeah, these daggers we'll get rid of as well. Put the jetstone in the useful stuff chest. And with that, I think we're going to stop for the night. We can pray. So next time we come back, we'll have that going for us. I think we made some pretty good progress here. Still a long way to go, particularly not having either magic resistance or reflection is a big problem. I think we're likely to be crowned here at the altar, which will get us fill in a bunch of these other resistances, but we'll still need magic and reflection, which as a monk, we have sort of limited ways to get these things. So Sokoban may be where we go after this, and hopefully with the different resistances we get from being crowned, we won't die from a wand of fire or wand of cold or any of those things we've been dying to recently. So I'm going to call it now, and thanks for joining me if you're still with me, and I will hope to see you next time.